...2009 C63. It's got the steering lock issue. We're going to take care of that today. You can still hear the steering column hit by the steering lock, and that means we have to take this whole column out and get that lock out. So the first thing we're going to do, take this apart. We're going to get the airbag off and take the steering column module off. Here's a quick pic of all the tools that I use for this job. I'll list these tools in the description. Okay, so we just took off the trim. Very easy to take this off. I just used my fingers because this one had a broken piece here, so it was a little bit out like this. Otherwise, use a plastic trim removal tool. Take it around the edges, pull it out. And next is going to be the steering wheel. The steering wheel this is a 2009, so it's not the facelift steering wheel. It's got two holes back here which have two T27s. There's one T27 on this side and one T27 on the other side. So I have a T27 long bit. This is probably longer than I need. You probably just need a 3-inch or even 2-inch would do. And this is a 1/4 inch to grab onto this one here because we have limited space back over here. So we're just going to stick this in here. The screw doesn't come out. You're just going to loosen it all the way till you hear it jiggling around. It's not going to come out of the steering wheel. That's loose already. I can do the other side now. Okay. Airbag can come off now. Now, if you don't have a scanner that can erase codes from specific modules, a bidirectional scanner, make sure that you remove the negative side of the battery underneath the hood before you remove this yellow connector. This is the airbag connector, and if at any time during this job this is disconnected and your main battery is connected, you're going to have an SRS light when you're done with this job. Okay, I have a scanner. I'm going to be able to erase this light, and it's convenient for me to leave it connected. I'm going to move the steering wheel in. Now that I'm done taking the airbag off and I don't have to have the room to reach back here, I'm going to go ahead and make this as short as possible using the electric knob here for the steering wheel. I'm just moving it in all the way to make it short. And then I'm going to keep it, as far as the up and down direction, I'm going to keep it in between, right in about the middle there, okay? And that's going to be easiest to get this column out. Okay, let's take off these connectors. I'm just going to use a pick. I'm going to use this automotive pick. Okay, I just took off the connectors. Now, this being the AMG version with the paddle shifters here, it has these two other connectors, one red, one black. Those came out of right up here, right on top there. Next is this bolt here. You want to have an impact wrench to take this off because it's going to make this job way easier. This is a 10mm hex, okay, 10mm hex, 1/2 inch drive, and we're off. Super easy. This has to be lined up when you put it back, okay? So you line up that thick groove right there with this thick groove right here. You can see that it's thicker than the other grooves. And there's a light Sharpie mark there, which I should darken. Same thing on the other side, up here. Just remember that. When you're putting this back on, in order for your steering wheel to be straight, these have to be lined up. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Sharpie and mark the steering column so that I can put it on in the same direction, okay? Okay, so we just pulled the steering wheel off, and this comes off next. We're just going to pull these off and pull these off, right? easy. Easy. Okay, and now we're just going to gently pull this off. Sometimes this is harder to come off than this. This one just came right off. Sometimes you have to tug on it a bit. Okay, so this is next. I'm going to pull this electrical connector out. So I'm done with this top part up here. You do not have to remove the instrument cluster. It doesn't help at all. It doesn't give you any extra space. So there's probably other videos out there where people are removing the instrument cluster. There's no reason to do it. Next, I'm going to remove the kick panel. There's just 3 Torx screws down here. There's the hood latch that needs to come off. There might be a couple of lights. Pretty simple. I'm going to get that done right now. The 3 screws of the kick panel are off, and now I'm going to remove the hood latch. I use this mirror so that I can see the little screw that's tucked right in this little corner here. So right in this corner, there's a screw. And that's the screw we're going to remove. It's just a Phillips head. Okay, so once you remove that Phillips screw, this just pops through the cover. There was one little light connector that was hanging there. Sometimes people forget this goes into the kick panel. It goes into this light right here. And the OBD2 diagnostics connector, it goes right through the panel as well. It was sitting here. This just slides over like this, and it releases. That's it. Next, we're just going to take down the column screws. This is the electrical column, so we do have 2 gray connectors that power the up, down, and in, out motors. And they're going to be up in here. There's one on this side. And there's one up under here. Gray connectors. Disconnect those. There's also the ESL wire. That white one there goes down to the column up on top of the column. You can't see it right now, but we're going to disconnect that one as well. We're going to disconnect the ESL. We're going to wait until we have a little more room. So the first thing we're going to do is just take out these 2 screws here. This one, and on the other side there's another one. Those are external Torx 12s. We're going to get rid of those screws right now. Okay, the 2 bottom screws are the longer of the 4 screws. Those are out. Now we're going to get the 2 top screws. There's one right here, and there's another one here. Okay, take those 2 out. Now the way that I do it, I use a open wrench to get them loose. This is a 10mm open wrench. Even though these are external Torx 12s, the 10mm works if you don't have a external Torx 12. Always best to use that one, as there's a little bit more room in here. But this will work just fine to loosen them up, and then I'm going to use my ratchet to get in there and speed them out. So there's my wrench, open wrench. We're just going to break it loose. Loose enough. The ratchet will do the rest of the work. Same here. Okay, loose enough. Now the ratchet's going to do the rest of the work. So if you have one of these, it speeds up the job. Not that doing it quickly is very important, but if you're in a shop or if you have the tool, why not use it? This one, take a different approach. I think I'm going to use an extension. So here's my setup. I got the ratchet, and I've got a couple of 3-inch extensions hooked up to a universal joint and my E12 socket. I'm going to use 2 hands because I got to straighten out this edge over here, okay? You get the idea. Your ratchet will get this off. T45 down here is next. Let's turn it this way. It's right here. And this will allow you to pull apart the column from the yoke that goes through the floor here. Now that yoke will come right out if you pull on it, so you've got to hold this yoke down and pull the U-joint away at the same time to separate the column from the yoke that goes through the floor. So I'm going to start pulling this apart now. Okay, so I just pulled it apart. There it is. Okay, we're just taking off the accelerator pedal for some room here. There's two 13mm plastic nuts. Take those off, and then there's a connector, electrical connector. Turn it on its side, and you can see the electrical connector here. You're just gonna go up on that little tab. Okay, that's off. Now we have a little room to tilt the column down towards the pedal and out through the bottom. Okay, so before you can take the column out, you know you have to disconnect the two gray connectors for the motor. This is one of them here, okay? And it connects to the motor that moves the telescoping column. And then we've got the ESL connector, which is connected to the ESL. I already took it out, it's right here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. And then there's also this one hooked up to the frame up here. You can just pull off. Pull that off. Now we're completely disconnected and we can pull out the column, and it always is a bit of a struggle to get this column out. Okay, so getting this out is always a bit of a struggle. You just finagle with it, wrestle with it. This ducting, if you want to take this off, this air ducting here, that might be in the way. I was able to move this, just disconnect it here, just pulls apart, and just sort of move it out of the way so that we have room to move the column to the right. And once I move that out of the way, I depress the brake pedal with my foot, and I maneuver this top portion towards the inside here. We have a little bit of room to go that way, right? So now we are steering the bottom of this column to the right towards the accelerator pedal, or where the accelerator pedal was. So now we've got it out, and we're just going to bring it out. You can drag it from underneath here. It should come quite easily now. It's out. Here it is. Here's our steering column. All right, so now I'm just gonna put this on the bench, and I'm going to remove the steering lock. This is the cause of the no crank, no start situation. We're gonna get rid of this. We're gonna program an ESL emulator, plug it in, doesn't have to go back into the column here. So if you're doing this job and watching my video because you're going to send in your ignition switch and key, this is what I need. I just need the ignition switch and your key fob, and with that I have enough to create a emulator, a steering lock emulator that you can then plug in to your steering lock connector here in place of this lock here. We're going to get rid of this. You're not going to need this anymore. We're just going to throw this out. And we're going to plug in our programmed emulator here. Remember, it won't work without programming. That's what I offer to do for you. I offer to do the programming service for you. All you need to send me is this ignition switch and key. Where do you send it? Well, you go onto our website, which I'll leave a link to in the description of this video. You purchase the service. You put the ignition switch and key in a box, wrap it up nicely for the trip. Include the order number. It's a 6-digit order number. You're going to include that order number in the box. Just write it on a piece of paper, put it in the box so that when we open up your box, We know it belongs to you. We know what service we're doing for you. It just goes a lot smoother that way. We receive 10 to 15 boxes every day, and most of them are ignition switches and keys. They all look the same. So if you don't include your order number and your name is not on the box or your phone number is on the box, we don't know who it belongs to. Okay, so we'll just have to wait for your call, and you'll tell us that, hey, I sent you something a long time ago and you haven't responded, haven't heard from you, so where's my stuff, basically. So you'll be calling us, where's my stuff, and we'll figure it out. Oh, the box with no identification, that's your stuff. Gotcha. All right, so we're going to take this to the bench. We're going to take out this lock, and we're going to go program an emulator, reinstall everything, and deliver this vehicle. Gonna drill right here. Okay, so once you've gone through, looks like that. You can see the gear inside. We're just going to move the gear with a pick, moving it clockwise. Until it stops. And once it stops, and now we're just going to take off this 13mm bolt here. Then we can depress this bolt and pull it up and out. See, it goes all the way in now. And we're just going to pull it up. And it's out. Now we can reinstall the steering column and program our emulator. Okay, so the emulator is installed, put the car back together, and it's ready to go. So this is what it sounds like when it's ready. Put the key in, you're going to hear the emulator chirp. Let's get down close to it. Okay. I'm going to turn it on. The door's open, so it still says take key from ignition. That's not an error message that's supposed to be there. Here it goes.